Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gents. I hope everyone is well. It is the 1st of May. Wow, the months are clicking so quickly, I've got to say. So yeah, 1st of May 2023. Man, we're nearly at the middle of the year already. Wow, unbelievable, isn't it? Okay, so who we got on this morning? Indy, how you doing, buddy? Roger, good morning. What? Good afternoon. What are you doing? Groll Daddy, how you doing? SW Blaze, good morning from Chicago. Excellent. Okay, so Monday, full week of trading. We have got some news in around about 35 minutes, ISM manufacturing news. So I have put that on there. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do as well. Alexa, set an alarm for 2:45 p.m.
Alarm set for 2:45 p.m.
I got a tendency of forgetting. Sometimes I'll get that engrossed in here, so I like to have a little reminder. So what we got here so far? Okay, not a lot of volume again. Volume seems to be getting lower and lower pre-market. I got to say, the last bunch of times I've been watching more the pre-market, it's a lot more predictable. Leg. It does seem a lot more predictable. It certainly seems easier to trade. You got less of the big boys in, which can do your damage. So, but we have got something down here. So whether we got one leg and just a slower leg down, or whether we're starting to actually push down into a bit of a trend, it's obviously way too early to tell at the moment. But whether we're doing, I don't know, something like this, I've got no idea at the moment. So I'd much prefer to play out that leg because obviously we got these areas where it's stalled and then bounced, and same here. I did look at that. I kind of like the bar, but the trouble is the first entry, that there's the failure, but then we got, so it's a new high really, so it's a sort of a fresh bar. So although I liked what it was, and I thought, you know, if you're going to take off the bottom, you're going to wait for it to break out here, pick up some buyers and then push up. And that literally just bought straight off there. So I thought there was a possibility that might tick up a few and then come back down, and it did. So there you go. Public bank holiday in most markets. Yeah, it's a bank holiday in the UK. But, of course, yeah. So that might be why. See, it's you US guys, isn't it? See, you guys still trade, so I didn't think it would make a difference, but yeah, perhaps it does a bit. It's definitely a little bit. There's definitely less volume so far, but I'm hoping when the main market officially opens, things should speed up a bit. Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Okay, markets officially opens in just over a minute and a half. So yeah, I did wonder whether that was the start of a downtrend, but obviously until it breaks below here and maybe retest the bottom and continues down, obviously you can't look at that because it just might be a leg, and another leg. You know, if we come down here, touch this and push up, then it may come back up, but it's just a bit early at the moment. So there you go. So bit of a strange weekend actually. I've been quite ill. I have last couple of days. Been a bit sick. I mean, literally, I threw up the other day, and I just haven't felt right. I've had a bit of the cold, bit of the shakes. I got up this morning, didn't feel brilliant, went back to bed for 2 hours, but I feel I'm drugged up now. I've got ibuprofen in me and some paracetamol and plenty of fluids, so hopefully I can tick over. That's the good thing about trading. I mean, if you're going out and doing a manual job for 10 hours, it's not that easy when you're ill, but trading's not so bad. So, hey DJ, how you doing, buddy? So yeah, I don't feel as bad at the moment because I'm dosed up, but strange, you don't often get like a bad stomach where you feel sick and sort of flu-ish symptoms as well. But I did go out with my sister and brother a week ago for a meal last weekend, and they both come down with COVID. So I tested myself yesterday and it's not showing, so whether it's just taking a little bit long on me, I don't know, but we'll see. Trading withdrawals, couldn't make it 2 days. Trading withdrawals. trading withdrawals. Couldn't make it 2 days. Not sure what you mean there, Indy. Okay, market is officially open. Trading withdrawals. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, withdrawal. Sorry about it. I didn't click. Yeah, I got your withdrawal symptoms. I got you. You never know. It could be possible. I had a bit of a temperature yesterday, so whether I am, perhaps it's really affected me. Okay, we've bounced off there. I thought we may pop down. I like to make these legs really, because if we get I was watching a video, Max, actually, something I hadn't watched for a while, trade on corrections, and very much what I've been doing lately, looking for 1 leg, 2 leg, and then looking for a way up. So whether this is going to come down and out here or not, I don't know. I'll get rid of it for now anyway. So, okay, so it definitely seems like we're working off this bottom. I don't know whether if I can pull that down. Let's have a look. 1, 2, touching 3 times there. 1, 2, it's touching a bit more there, but I don't think that's. Let's go with there. I don't think it is too much touching there, touching there. Everything's within this line anyway. So whether we're going to push up to here or whether we're going to continue down, I mean, it is possible. I think it's doubtful at the moment that it is channel down, especially as it's bounced, but you never know. It is possible we could have something like that. Maybe it's a break in new low, I don't know, but it's too early. Luffy, how you doing, buddy? So we'll see what happens, but yeah, not a massive amount of volume, but hopefully when the institutional guys in the US start trading, things should speed up, but I do expect a little bit. I don't think lower volume is such a bad thing. Sometimes it doesn't seem to. Obviously, things work a little bit slower, but it doesn't seem to affect the trade sometimes. Sometimes things are a bit clearer. Who knows? So, news in about 25 minutes. I have set an alarm. Anybody know if you can set alarms actually on NinjaTrader so you can actually, attach your alarm to a certain time frame? Just to remind you, I know sometimes I tend to forget. I tend to get that zoned in, concentrate on what I'm doing, and I forget about the news. But I don't know whether there are any alarms within NinjaTrader. Perhaps there are, and I just haven't found any. But yeah, so far definitely seems like we're ranging. No argument there. Could be leg, sideways leg, could be a couple of legs. I'll tell you what I haven't done. I'll leave that there actually. I always mark me open. Sod off. There we go. Ah, look at that. Fantastic. Just where I wanted it. That will do. Sit on there. Perfect. Locked. Super. Okay. Happy days. That's that done. Strange that. Look at that. It's sitting right on there. How unusual is that? But still, we haven't managed to break above that. The open. Cool. That's unusual, isn't it? There we go. Finally. Yeah, it does look like it might be a leg. A little bit of sideways and another leg. But I got no idea at the moment. Let me see. Possible second entry short. Signal bar was naff anyway, so I don't know. It's just untradeable this really at the moment. Just from the sheer pattern, it could push up sideways and make a mirror image. It often does that, but I don't know at the moment. If we get above here, I'd say we're probably going to make another leg up. It is a pattern that you see a lot of the time, this. I should make a little note of how often I see this and how often it does what I think it's going to do. So that is a failure. Failed second entry short, which is triggered. Now, personally, see what I just mentioned about that push up sideways and push up? It's sort of like a bull flag. Let's just see if it does make it up here, because we need to keep an eye on stuff like this because it's a first entry. In fact, actually, I don't think it's broken below there. It does look like it has because of this, but anyway, regardless, push, sideways, push. If this is something I continue to see, then maybe, I don't know, I'll jump in here with a little point risk or something and we'll see. But I think this is the type of thing that you see when you see year after year might be tradable. Actually, having seen this come down, I'm not so sure actually, but okay, well that wouldn't have worked, would it, if you'd have put your order there? It wasn't a failure anyway. I thought it broke below there, but it didn't, so that's the failure. Try go low once, try go low twice. It's just a bit choppy really anyway. I can't really tell what's going on. Oh, incidentally, last day of the Apex 90% off finishes, I believe it's Eastern Standard Time tonight. So, but having said that, I don't think it'd be long. In fact, I saw a video on YouTube earlier. Now the guy didn't have a lot of subscribers. I don't know, 100 subscribers or something like that. But he was asking questions about, you know, was he concerned about Apex affording to pay people out because they have such these big discounts? Now, my honest opinion, excuse me. Now I've got an affiliate link, as you know, and I make a kickback every time someone takes an evaluation. Now, at the 50% price, I might get 1 a day. At the 90% price, I probably get 5 a day or something on the lines of that. So they sell way more at 90%. You can take my word for it on that. And what I will say is at 90%, you are going to blow way more, purely and simply because if it's only costing you $16, $17, people will take risks. If it's costing you 5 times that, you're going to take a lot less risks. So if anybody is concerned about Apex and why they're doing these so cheap discounts, my honest opinion, and it's relatively clear because I know how many they sell, because I know how many affiliate links I get. It's simple maths. So they are going to make way more money doing these big discounts. That I'm sure of. Okay, so it did push up. It came back there. I mean, it wasn't a failure there. There was the failure, but it's just, I wouldn't take that as a failure. Big red bar. It's not to say it's not going to push up, and obviously it did in that case. But so yeah, if you are concerned about Apex, I'm not in the slightest. If I was, I wouldn't be trading with them now. But like I say, they sell tenfold at that discount price. So, you know, I mean, usually you'll always get it at 50% off anyway. But what's 50% off? Something like, I don't know, $75. And they make probably, I don't know, $13, probably 6 times less. But they sell tenfold and you're going to blow away more. It's simple maths to me. So. Okay, right, you see what I mentioned about that? We had that push-up sideways and a push-up, almost like a mirror image, and look at that, where it's finished. Now, there wasn't a failure there. I thought that might be, because it looked like it was one tick. It was just the fact that the EMA's pointing up and it's touching there and it's not there, so that... But there's a first entry. There's your failure there, so whether you'd have taken that or not, I personally wouldn't. If that had a tick down there, that would have been the failure, but if you'd have taken that anyway, it would have worked. So... Just keep an eye on those. That's what I tend to do. I'm going to keep a little eye on them more. A lot of times we'll see a push up, especially obviously, if we're in the right direction now, in my opinion, it's ranging. So when we come to the bottom, I'd say the chances are we're going up are quite obviously quite good. And same with that. And if you get this push up like this and then a little bit of sideways, just keep an eye on the fact if it does it again, because if you're seeing that constantly, then there's an indication there that there may be a trade to find in there. Maybe, I don't know, pick a low or maybe jump in here or something with just half a point risk or a point risk just to see how it works. Because if you risk a point there and it goes up 4 points, and if that's doing it 80-90% of the time, then simple math says that's worth a trade. So, I mean, it doesn't follow the rules, but I mean, if you can find a failure there, then obviously that would follow the rules, and there was a failure there, but it didn't look like a good bar to trade that for me. If I get 90% off, does that roll over the next month too? It goes down to 80%, bud. So if you're still trading the account or the evaluation, 30 days later, it goes down to 80%, which is about $33 and give or take a few pence or a few cents. But do you know what? I'm thinking that if you're a new trader, you're better off doing that than paying $1,000 for the Ninja Trader license, because you can trade on their license. So if you pay, let's say you pay, I don't know, $13, and then you just trade, you don't even need to trade that, you can just trade a demo, and then it's only going to cost you $33 a month, which is about $400 a year, which is quite, you know, compared to $1,000 outright to buy the license, might be a good way of learning, because a lot of people will quit in that first year. So why pay $1,000 for a license when you can, you know? So I think it's pretty good. There's a 90% roll over the next month to no, it's 80%, but after it's 90% the first payment, and if you're still in that evaluation 30 days later, you get trade. It goes down to 80%. So it's $33 for the second month. That's if you're still trading that evaluation. So I mean, look at that. See that push up there? In fact, you could probably take that a fraction higher. What's that like? There, I'd say. But look how that's finished. 1, 2, 3 bars finished under it. 1 finished over it, and that one. Look at that. If you think these measured moves are random, think again. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 bars either finished below or closed on top of that measured move. So if you think measured moves aren't accurate, think again. They need to become a massive part of your trading if you're not using them. But look at that. Push up, little bit of sideways, and push up again. Bang, look at that. Perfect. Touching. Yeah, it stays 80% after Sam, yeah. So it's about is it something like $16 or $17, the 80% off, and then it's $33 and some cents or something for the any continuations. So what I'm looking for. Any continuation, if it continues every 30 days or so. I'm still not with it, actually. So yeah, so look at that. How's that going to finish? Look at that. It's uncanny, isn't it, really? It does make you wonder how traders trading can be that accurate. Okay, so are we going to move to the top here? In fact, I'm going to bring that down there purely simply because that's where the market closed, there and there. Same here, nothing's broken out the bottom yet. Whether this might be a small break, it's possible. It's touching once, it's touching 3 times there, so you may go to there and it's touching 4, 5, 6, maybe. Let's leave it there for now. I don't know whether it'll be relevant or not. Okay, but yeah, clearly playing a part, that measured leg. So if you'd have taken something like that, thinking we're going to push up, it did come back, but it didn't. It wouldn't have stopped you out. But just got to keep an eye. I suppose when you're seeing patterns like this, if you're seeing patterns constantly doing that, then I think it's common sense. Sooner or later, you'll think, well, ooh, maybe I should think about trading from here then. You know, but we'll see. Alexa, stop. Okay, so we've got news in 15 minutes. Alexa, stop. She's not listening today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my hand off the mouse. That might give me a little bit of a reminder. In fact, let's bring this down here. I want that in my line. I've got a terrible habit of forgetting. I get that is zoned into the market. Okay, so we're coming back up to the top. So I did look at this. Now, what I will say is, from my experience, I much prefer it. I much prefer it. It's just going to help me or not. When markets push down, that's not helping, is it? When markets push down and then push back up, because that tells me if traders are trading this as a range where they're going to put their buy orders, they're going to put the buy orders below there. So when market does close below that bar like this, I'm not a fan of taking them on that bar there. But when it moves below there and then rejects and pushes up, then that's a good indication to me that there's been a lot of buyers below here, or the opposite, a lot of sellers above here, because we take our trades above or below signal bars. A lot of traders, they don't. They'll put orders sort of above where they're likely to go short. Lots of limit orders, stop limit orders, that sort of stuff. So, see, like this one, I'm not trading here anyway but I prefer it when it does push out, and then obviously the buys give up, and the shorts, if you've got any short orders, will push that down. It's not a brilliant bar that anyway, but it is bearish. But I much prefer it when it pushes higher and sits on there, something like that. So if this ticks higher and then comes down bearish, that tells me that there's some short orders up here, and only if it does that. Certainly enough to push down to the EMA anyway. If it does finish bearish, I don't know whether it will or not, but we have got these news anyway, so I'm leaving it alone at the moment. Okay, clearly not enough shorts in there. I'm wondering whether it's a possibility there's a bit of a channel there. Actually, it kind of fits okay. I've still got to remember that it still may come in. Perhaps there's some orders, some buy orders above here, which pushes this down. I don't know, but let's see. I just noticed your comment. Indy, thanks, buddy. Yeah, on those 50 vals, I think I get a couple of dollars each. So that certainly make me a bit, yeah, I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks. Anybody does use my code, and you don't have to. It's all right. I know there might be other streamers you watch, and that's fair enough. When I before I started streaming, sometimes I'll watch one streamer and sometimes I'll watch another, and that's fine. Your trade is just the same as me, so if you use it, great. If you don't, that's fine. It's all right. I'm all right with that. I mean, if I use them, I tend to use Sam as I do, because he's another streamer and another guy, a UK guy from Scotland that I talk to quite regular. And just because he's got another streaming channel doesn't mean he's the enemy. I'm quite happy to send people to him. I sent people to his Discord, and I use his affiliate code as well. So, well, as far as I'm concerned, we've all got the same hobby and interest here, and we're all, there's no real competition in trading. It's not like a lot of businesses where you have competition that can take business away from you. No one can take business away from you trading. There's we're all trading as individuals with the market. So as far as I'm concerned, we all help each other out, and that's the way I see it. Anybody who spends enough time working hard and trading, as I know Sam does, he's got a full-time job, but he still trades, has got my respect. I know how tough it is. So, okay, so is this going to be a fail breakout? Have we got this bar here, and are we going to get a lower high? I'm not convinced, actually. News is in 10 minutes, so I don't know. It could be a bit of a channel see. So I think generally, if there's a channel within a range, I think the range takes precedent anyway. So just because it comes down to here doesn't necessarily mean it's going up. A lot of the times I've seen a second entry long and I've gone long and it's come down purely and simply because we're mainly ranging, and I've been caught out. So when it does this, I tend to leave it alone anyway, and because it is more risky, because it could come back in, or it might be a second entry long and it might push up again. So it can do a bunch of things. This you got in at 88.25, did you? 88 down here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much, when we push above here, you pretty much got a fair idea that it's coming to the top. I think the chances are reasonably high. Yeah, see. Possibly. See, some may be thinking, oh, second entry long here, it's not a good bar anyway. But if it comes down here, sometimes you can go long, and what it is, it's a failed second entry long which comes down because it's ranging. So areas that it could go up or down like this, I tend to stay clear of now. And obviously you learn by making mistakes, and I've made more than my fair share of them. Yeah, the only downside to having $17 evaluations, you tend to take stupid risks. And I'm no different. It's very easy to get a $17 one and trade 10 contracts and try and pass it in 10 minutes. Or at least maybe get $1,000 or get halfway there and take the sting out of it. But one thing that I've learned, and I still do it myself, but one thing I'm learning is it just does not work. Occasionally it does. You may do it, I don't know, three times in every 10, but if you're basing trading system on 30% win rate, it's never ever going to happen. Sure, I just can't short it, mate, and I'll tell you why. We've got the news in 7 minutes, so it might continue to go side. So if you short that there, and I've done this, if you short that there, bud, there's a good chance you're going to get stuck there going like that, and then the news is going to come in, and then you're going to get whiplashed or whipsawed as Matt calls it. So if you short there, you're either going to get stopped out, or you're going to be, I reckon it's going to be stuck in this range 6 minutes in the and then we got the news. So that's why you can't just, you've got to be aware of any news. And not just that, it's clearly going sideways, which means it could go up or it could come down. Could be ranging, or this may turn into a bit of a channel. I've got no idea. I did have a look at yesterday. Now, Mac doesn't tend to talk about this, but I think sometimes it doesn't do any harm to look at. So if you take that like that and say, okay, there's one leg, and you take that like that and say there's another leg, and go sideways, that it could mean that it's going up there. So I don't know. If you look at the markets, I mean, we push up. We had a two-legged correction, we pushed up again. We had another two-legged correction, we pushed up again. We had another two-legged correction, we pushed up again. Is that random? Just because we go on to another day means we shouldn't do, really, because if you look at the daily, you don't trade the daily one candle at a time, do you? You look at the daily and you think, okay, what did it do today? What did it do yesterday? What did it do the day before? And that builds up a picture. So it's quite, it's quite feasible that we may push higher and do this, but we'll see. Okay, so if you did go short here, I think you're going to get, and it is frustrating. I've done it myself. I got stuck in these trades, and you're desperate to get out, but the market won't let you. Fortunately, if you took that, you'd have been able to get out of it, but it's a dangerous time to take it so close to the news. You've got a couple of points there. News is in 4 minutes, so I think you've been lucky to get out there if anybody did go short there. Tell you something, mate, you must have the patience of a St. Argy. You traded that overnight. Where did the market open about here? Well, having said that, you might not have traded on this time frame, but sometimes in the morning it does get predictable. You got one leg, two. I mean, obviously it's not probably, but very predictable sometimes. You'll get one leg, two legs so clearly. You'll get one leg, two legs so clearly, one leg, two legs. And if it's that clear and it's that predictable, it should be a great time to trade. But obviously the volume's low. It's probably something to do with the fact that there's bank holiday in the UK and I don't know, other parts of Europe. I think I'm not sure. We're not part of the EU anymore, but I'm not sure whether being part of the EU will mean you get the same holidays. I don't know. I suppose it's possible it will. I don't know much about that really, but if you trade overnight, mate, you got the patience of a saint. I'll give you that. Yeah, see, I don't know how many points you go for. So if you're expecting this to come down here from shorting, I don't know where you're shorted. Let's say you're shorted here. You'd have picked up 2 to 2.5 points. But also you may be a bit stuck because that news is in 1 minute and 5 seconds. And you don't want to be stuck in the news when we get any high impact news. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference, but that's rarely. Usually we'll get and not just that, even if we are coming down, even if it's bad news, a lot of the time we'll get a spike in both direction. Reset the overnight highs. Let's see what the longs have got to chase. I don't think many people are trading right this minute. It's been going pretty slow for the last couple of minutes. We've got this news coming out in 30 seconds. So usually the last few seconds it starts to go like that quickly, up or down quickly, and then more ammo. Off it'll go. Yeah, so if you did go short here, you don't want to be in this trade now, really. Hey, Lilith, how you doing? How you doing? Okay, little couple of bits of quick spikes. Okay, news is out. There you go. So if you had a shorted that, you'd have been all right. Trouble is, you just don't know, do you? What's that? It's 6.25 point bar quickly. Excellent. Good. Okay, so we've had this little breakout. It does look like a breakout. Whether we're going to get another high from it or not, I don't know. If we get another high, then there is a possibility we could be going higher. But I think it's probably just a failed breakout at the top of a range. But let's see if whether we get down the bottom or not. I think we have got some big news in a couple of days, haven't we? From the Fed, I think. Whether they're putting it up, what is it, up to 25 basis points or something? I'm not sure. Is that Wednesday or Thursday? I'm not sure. Okay, let's have a look at this. See if it's possible we could get a couple of legs down here. Look at that. That would take it right to the bottom, wouldn't it? So, try to go once. Possible second entry short. I don't know, it's a bit congested there, but it is possible we could have a leg and another leg down. If we push up here and then come down bearish below there, I'm kind of okay at taking that short. Because it'd be a second entry short. I want the body to be here, then the stem to be up here. Just wondering, there's a second entry long there. So if this ends up here and nice and bearish, then I may consider taking the failed second entry long, which would take out any possible longs, thinking we're going to make a new high from this. Let's get a sell order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
One leg down, possible two legs down. If we can end up bearish down here, I don't mind that actually. Let's wait for that to trigger. It's a bit congested actually. Let's see if it comes back and gets us.
Order submitted.
Okay. It's a second entry short. I like where it is. Try to go once, try to go twice. It's a failure as well. So if we can get below here, second entry long, I don't think it's terrible. It's a second entry short. We pull down, try to go once, try to go twice. It's a failure and a second entry short. Let's get rid of that. It is getting a little bit congested. Hopefully, it'll be okay. Finishes bearish. I think we need to get below here. There's a second entry long there. I think there may be some traders thinking we're pushing up, we've got to break, make a new high. So it is getting a bit congested. So see what happens. To get below here, I think. Yeah, I'm not convinced now. I might try and get out of this if I can. .2.5 risk, so it's not massive. See how this one finishes. We've had a leg, I would expect another leg. I'm just going to let it ride, I think. It hasn't broken the lows yet, so... Once we get down below here, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, it's frustrating when it goes sideways. Yeah, it's going to take me out, I think.
Order
Yeah,
filled.
okay. Oh, well. It is what it is. It did start going sideways, and that is frustrating. So, okay, 2.25 point. That's not terrible. We had this push down sideways. I was expecting another push down, so I sat in it. Let's have a look. Yeah, 225. It's not terrible. It was a second entry short. What did it go? Let's have a look. They got 2.25 points out of it at a squeeze. Okay, let's get rid of that. Yeah. It didn't seem to have much of an impact, the news, so I just thought it was okay. We had a push down. Usually, like I mentioned earlier, that push down, a little bit of sideways and push up, and I thought we'd go down, especially we had lower lows, 1, 2, 3 lower lows. I thought we were all right there. It was a failure. The bit that got me into it was a failure. You can count that as a second entry short. We got first entry. Second entry, it's definitely a second entry short from here. We got the new low, first entry. Second entry short, and a failed second entry long. I did look at this, but it's just a first entry. I'd prefer a lower high, really. What eval do I recommend? The $50,000 one. It's by far the easiest to pass, by far the best value. No argument there. Anybody will tell you the same thing. I don't see the point in going higher. The most contracts you can trade on a $15,000 account is 10 contracts. When are you ever going to need to trade any more than 10? You go for multiple accounts, that's where you make the money, not the amount of contracts so much. And if you have 10 accounts and you're trading 10 contracts, then you're going to make a ton of money. FOMC, yeah. That's why I didn't take that one, unless we get a lower high. I don't know. Could be sort of a breakout from this. See if we get a lower high. See if we get a lower high.
Order submitted. Order canceled.
Okay, so we got a new low. Try go lower. Try go lower. So this is a possible failure. So, It's also a lower high, but it just looks to me like it could be a little bit sideways there. So, just wonder whether we are likely to push up above here. Just don't really want to go long into those highs. New low, try go once, try twice, possible failure. New low, try go once. See if this triggers. This triggers comes down. That might give us a short. Okay, the failure's triggered. Did you? Yeah. Does look like we're pushing up for this, doesn't it? Interesting. Looks like we're going to make a new high. Okay, there we go. New high now. Let's have a look. Looks like leg. Just risky taking a short here. Okay, we could probably move that up there now. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's why you can't short there. Could be a leg, a correction, another leg. It's possible. This didn't come down very far. Mm-mm. Interesting. See if there's triggers. It's just a bit risky to take, I think. Could just tick above and come down. Interesting. We're going to push down and a pullback. There was a lower high there, which is triggered. I just wonder whether that's going to push up and take it out and then create a second entry short. I don't know. Interesting. Second entry long, which is triggered. Ooh. Try go once, try go twice. Possible failure. I like that for a short trade.
Order submitted.
Below that bar there. Be some second entry longs there. Hey Angela, how you doing? How you doing? Try go once, try go twice. Failure. Second entry long there. If it drops below there, there'll be some longs there. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that it is starting to get a bit congested there, right the way along that middle. There is a failure there. If you get below here, though, we should come down, but there's a second entry long there. I think that's okay. If we can get below there, trouble is it might be bottoming there, and if it is bottoming, then it's likely to go back up. It could be coming down between this area here, so a little bit late to the show. Didn't miss much. No, not really. Not a lot, really. Yeah, got the same thing as there. Push down, failure. Try go once, try twice. Congested, end up going back up. So it's just too risky, that, I think.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
There's a failure there. There's longs and longs there. But it is so congested, isn't it?
Order cancelled.
I think that's still worth it.
Order
there's going to
submitted.
be some long stops below there. It's just too risky because it's so. I think it's likely to come down, but the trouble is it might trigger you, push back up. There's a second. There's going to be some long stops there. There may even be some longs there. It's just too risky though when it's like this.
Order cancelled.
I had the same issue there. We had a push down, we had a failure. I took the failure. I mean, it made a couple of points, but the trouble is, I go for a little bit more than a couple of points. So on the odd occasion, yeah, it went for about you'd have squeezed 2.5 points. But the trouble is, when I go for these trades, sometimes because I take more than 2 points, you are going to fail the odd one. So it's not always going to work. So if you took that, or you took the failure, you got stopped out there. If you took that one, could be working between these areas. See, this might be the new low for a while. It's just hard to say. So there's a second entry long there, which is triggered. Some long stops there, which is triggered, but it hasn't pushed down like I was expecting. And there lies the problem. You take a trade here, it triggers you and then pushes up strongly. Look at that. The trouble is it could just take out a load of shorts. You took a short there, or you took the failure, or you possibly took that one. And that's the problem. I did exactly the same there. Look what happened, it pushed up. So it's just too risky. This could be the bottom, see. It looks like it's working off the bottom, so you may want to take a long there. Who knows? It's just too dangerous to trade this, really. I mean, it wasn't terrible when I got into it, but then obviously carried on. Traps galore there. If you took the failure, sorry, if you took that lower high, it triggered you. It looks like it's going to stop you out. If you took the second entry long, it triggered you, then stop you out. Don't know if you took that one, it triggered you, stop you out. The trouble is, there's so many traps in areas like this. Looks to me like we're going to have the same thing, a push up, so it looks like it's working off this bottom area for now. See if it gives us a pullback like this. Yeah, I don't pay too much attention to the comments. If I would have done, every time Harjit said go short, I'd have gone short. No, I don't. I just tend to go with what I say. does seem like it's working in that area at the moment. I was hoping we might get a bit of a pullback here because we did the same. We pushed up, get a bit of a pullback and carried on, but we haven't broke below there. I'd say to me that's likely to push to the top. Unfortunately, no setup. Looks like leg breaking a leg. Yeah, excuse me just a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Yeah, in fact, there's a possibility. In fact, let me just remove that. Touched here. Touched. I think that to me looks like the top, and these are a couple of breakouts. It's touching on lots of. In fact, let's get rid of that. It's bouncing off this midline, so let's just draw something on off this midline. Or there. Let's put it there. It's not closing below there. So whether this moves up or not, I don't know, but I just like the way it's touching there. It's touching, it closes there, closes there, closes there, closes there, closes there. Both bodies sit on that. Both bodies sit on that, and it touches there. So I think that's probably... I like where it works. That just looks like a couple of breakouts. Whether it will continue higher or not, I don't know, but... yeah, Tyler, you're not wrong. It is hard to read. It's quite choppy, isn't it? And the trouble is, I took that. See, to me, we had a push down. Strike high, It was a failure. I kind of like where it is, and to be fair, it made about 2.5 points. So Matt might mark that as a failure, and it was a successful trade. On the downside is I tend to go for 1-to-1, which is why I didn't make off that trade. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad trade. If you look, it's a second entry short. I like where it was, and it came down lower, and it would have made 2.5 points. Now, the thing is, when you go for sort of 3 points plus or 1-to-1, you can sort of look like you're a bit of an unsuccessful trader when, you know, technically that would have made it, but it obviously didn't give me what I want. So when you do take a few more points, you are going to lose a few more trades, and that's sort of the downside, really. So this is interesting. We've pushed down from the top. We've got a bearish bar which has triggered and touched the EMA, so it'd be interesting to see whether that's going to go up a bit higher. Yeah, I mean, if I go for 2 points, the trouble is, because it's not moving, I mean, it's only moving between sort of, 5 or 6 points from the top, so there's a lot more room for errors. So maybe it's sometimes, if it's doing something like this, I need to reduce my profit a little bit to maybe 2 points, something like that. But my experience is 80% of the trades I take do 6 points or more profit. So, you know, a little bit of a gap there. Jump quickly. So it does seem to be working from this level to this level, with the exception of a one breakout. I'm not counting that at the moment, because since we've come down to here, we're working in this sort of area. Okay, I thought that might do that. We had a push down here, break new low, push up here, break new high, push down here, break new low. Mm. I like that. Leg.
Order
So we
submitted.
get a lower high there. Tempted to take that, but trouble is it might just sideways a little bit. No, I like that. I like that. Come back and get me. Come on.
Order submitted.
It's made a measured leg. That's why I like it. I'll just take it down here somewhere. It might come down lower, we'll see. Don't mind if it ticks above there. It might give us a lower high. I did consider waiting for the lower high, but I like the bar. It's broken above this measured move, so... It's a 2.25 point risk. I didn't mind it triggering. Hopefully if we can get that bearish and we may be okay. Okay, that's not looking good now, but oh well. Just wondering, are we starting to move up? It's quite hard to say, really, isn't it? Not sure. I don't think we are. Hopefully a lower high. I just like that it was a measured move there. So that looked like one leg, two leg, bearish bar. It didn't trigger it out. It came down bearish. So we'll see. I usually wait for the lower high, but the reason I liked it is because it was a measured leg. That's what I liked about it. Second entry long, maybe that'll come down. We'll see. Like the Gorilla guy says, it's not how many trades you win or lose, it's how much you make on your winners. It does seem to, what's concerning me is we're slowly getting higher highs. So we'll see. Second entry long there, so maybe I'll come down and take out those. We'll see. So if you'd have taken that one, or you'd have taken the lower high, or you'd have taken the failure, you're in this trade. So we'll see. Well, if you take that one, it's a second entry short and a measured leg. Take that one, you could say it was a lower high. Well, it's the same sort of high, or you could say that's the failure. So there's some longs there, possibly longs. So it could come down, take them out, or it could take me out. And the failure's trap. It's hard to say at the moment. If this goes up, I'd say it's slowly moving up. See, if you're taking the lower high or the failure, you're going to be taken out anyway. Looks like
Order filled.
Yeah. Oh well. It is frustrating. They know where your stops are, but I don't know. We seem to be going up now, so oh well. And when there's some whether there's some sort of a, I don't know. Does look like there might be a spike in channel. I think the range is out of there. It looked like it was ranging until it's above here. Now it's clearly getting higher and higher. So I'd say the ranging is, yeah. Oh, good on you, Sam. Good on you, lad. Let's see. Yeah, the good thing about trading the evals is you're not risking your own money or only a small amount of it. Yeah, so if I'd been going for 2 points, that would have worked. If you'd have gone for a scalp, that one would have worked. So both of them would have worked. But the trouble is, because I go for more points, you are going to lose more trades. That's the downside of it. And obviously that to me looked like it was a perfect measured leg, really, the way where it closed, which is why I went short. And sometimes they work, sometimes they work. But I'm thinking range, but now obviously I'm thinking more of a channel. See, that's a double top. I've seen people take those trades. I saw Marco take one. Just ride it back to the EMA. Well, to be honest with you, until we broke above here, in my opinion, it was ranging. We did not use a measured move. Measured moves are brilliant for entry. If you look at Mac's videos, he calls them measures on corrections. We have one leg, two leg. We're in a range there. You would be thinking down, and to me, we're in a range, but obviously now we're pushed up, which is why I've drawn that uptrend. So now I won't be looking for shorts. But the trouble is, before we had that, to me, we were sort of ranging, really. We were working in this top section here, which is why I took that short. Now, obviously, we've broken above it and we're continuing higher. So now that's why you'll see I've drawn that channel. Because we're obviously, in my opinion now, like I mentioned, we're making higher highs. I'm still not convinced we're not in a range at the moment. We just might have a couple of legs and we come back down into it. It's hard to say at the moment. I liked it because it was a measured leg, and to me we were ranging at the time, and every time we've gone up we've come back, and we seem to be bouncing between these areas here, the top, bottom, but obviously now we've pushed up, things are different. Matt got one out yet, has he? I can't find a what's it. Until we pushed above that, really. See, I'm thinking ranging, and obviously that would have made 2.5 points. I tend to go for more, so that would have worked. If Mac had taken that, it would have scalped, so it would have worked. So it's, you know, it's just, now we've pushed up. I didn't have that channel drawn, and now that channel. I've got his website on here, but I can't see where he's drawn a what's it? Yeah, see, he's got the same if you look. So when it's like that, obviously you short the tops and buy the bottoms, but now it's pushed up that third time. It's a bit different. Me, 2 I do, bud. 2 contracts. Yeah. See, I'm still not fully convinced we're in a trend at the moment. It just might be a failed breakout. It's hard to say. Let's put that back like that. See if this comes back in. We'll see if it pushes higher. See if this comes back down here. It's just a failed breakout. Interesting. fact, you may take that slightly higher and have it there, in which case that sits below the top, so it might just be retesting that. The trouble is, could be a second entry short. You might take that as a lower high, but could be a second entry short. Sorry, second entry long. Let's see if it does trigger as a second entry long, and then if that comes down and takes the stop out. It's like the way it's pushed down and sat on the inside like that. Let's see if this triggers as a second entry long. I mean, it may be. It may be going long. I mean, it may be an uptrend. I'm just not fully convinced. Let's see if it triggers and comes down. The EMA is perfectly flat, see? Okay, that's triggered. Now let's see what happens, because this could be a failure. Yeah, if you've got that bigger trend and there's a second entry long, you may take that. So what I'm going to do...
Order submitted.
Is if it does come down, I may take that as a failure. See how it works. Just want to check it's not congested, that's all. That's why your stop is if you're going long. Yeah, it's getting a bit sideways there, so I got no idea.
Order cancelled.
Oh, it's finished actually quite nice, actually. I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
Order submitted.
Good. I'm going to take it as a failure.
Order submitted.
Try go once, try a failure. If it pushes below there, it'll take out any long stops there. I usually take them below there, but a lot of the times they'll work, and I like the way the bar was. See if we can get some more money back. Let me push below here, really. Second entry long. One leg, two leg. Let's have a look. See if we can get something out of this. One leg. Two leg. Need to push below here again. Okay. .75 point risk. Starting to look like it's going to go sideways again. God, it's doing a lot of this today. Push sideways, push sideways, push sideways. Going sideways again. Thought when we had that long, which triggered, whether the long stops a little bit further down, I don't know.
Stop filled.
Okay. Typical. All right, what do we get? Half a point. And it's doing what I expected it is. Typical, isn't it? We had a push down, go sideways, and now I got out of it. Look, it's going down. Oh, that's so frustrating. Oh, so frustrating. Oh, dear. Oh, no, it's so frustrating. Oh, well. Okay, so we got half a point. Better than a kick in the teeth, I suppose. It is frustrating. We had one leg down, failure. Literally right down to that measured leg, I think, was it? Let's have a look. Yeah. Measured leg. Yeah, 2 legs. Oh, well. Well, I got half a point, so that's better than nothing. So at least I got something. Okay, so yeah, it does look like it's going down, doesn't it? Let's have a look. I'm all right, actually, to be fair. Why did you move your stop so fast? I'll tell you why, because we had a push down and I got trapped there and it went sideways. We had a push up and I got trapped there, it went sideways. We had a push down and it went sideways. I was expecting a trap again because it started getting congested again. So the last time it got congested, it wasn't congested when I took it, but it went congested and took me out. Same there, went congested and took me out. So I just thought, I don't want it to happen another 3 times. But, oh well, sometimes it happens. See, the trouble is, sometimes you read the comments. So, who was it? Brain. We didn't make a measured move. We got a bullish imbalance. There's bullish imbalance. We do not take shorts. So, the trouble is, sometimes when you read things and you're thinking, oh, perhaps we are going along, perhaps I've missed something out of it. And you know what I mean? And you're thinking, oh, right. So, that's the trouble when you read things. So, what I did is I put my. So, to me, now I'm thinking. We are ranging, so it is what it is anyway. But yeah, it is frustrating when you see that, and you could have got all your money back. It's so frustrating. Perhaps I need to just leave. Oh, look at that. See, I'd have brought it down to there and I'd have gone each individual top down. So what I would have got there was, where did I go here? I took the fairly, didn't I? So I'd have put myself 7 points. I'd have been down here. Oh, it's frustrating. Oh, it's frustrating. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I got to stop reading some of the comments. They can affect the way you trade sometimes, but it is what it is anyway. There's no point worrying about it. But it's weird how it's broken below there and then pushed up nice and bullish. But you just can't get into them. Okay, so we got half a point anyway. It's better than a kick in the teeth. I'll work out how much I got earlier. Yeah, it is frustrating, isn't it? Just as you get out, it comes down and you'd have got all your money back plus a couple of hundred. Oh well, no point worrying about it. I'd say after breaking out of here, that's likely to push up to the EMA. But the trouble is, when you've had that, it's so easy to jump in and think, oh, I'll catch it, you know, I'll get my thing back, and then you end up getting stopped out. I've done it myself. Yeah. The trouble is, we had that failure, and then we had another couple floating around here, and I'm just thinking, congestion, exactly the same there, and I got stung, exactly the same there, and I got stung. And then when it happens 3 times, naturally, you're thinking, I'm going to get trapped again, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. We're at the bottom here, see if we can get a higher low. I don't mind trying to take that back to there if we can. We have pushed below, we had a bullish bar, a couple of ticks off its high and it's pushed up. We do seem to be in this area here. Was it mentioned? Brain. We have got a bullish imbalance, or it seems that way anyway. So you think, but because although we're ranging, we are clearly sort of going slowly higher. It doesn't mean we can't come down. Excuse me, but you definitely read the entry right. Yeah. The trouble is, it's doing a lot of this, pushing up sideways, pushing down sideways, pushing down sideways, pushing up side. It's doing a lot of push and a lot of sideways, and sometimes you can get trapped. And I did there. See, when we had that one, yeah, sometimes I wait for the higher low. Okay, so we had a double top with a nice bearish, and then we had a failure. What happened? It triggered. 2 pushes up and stopped you out. So I'm not massively convinced we're in a... Oh, no, I'm not blocking Brain. No, it's just his opinion. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. If I listen to it, it's down to me. But to be honest with you, I drew that uptrend before he mentioned it. So I'm thinking uptrend as well. But, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. If I listen to him, that's down to me. 1 push up, 2 push up. So, no, most of the times I don't actually, but I've pulled it right above my head so I can see it right above the chart now. But trouble is, it might not have done that. Yeah, I know you're only joking. It might not have done that. It might have taken me out. It's one of those things. It is a little bit choppy today, so it can. But because it stung me here and it stung me here, 3rd time round, you naturally, when it starts to go sideways, you're naturally starting to think. Now, as most of you know, I tend to follow the guerrilla trader a bit. And he'd have taken that one and he'd have happily left it because, like he says, it's not about how much you win or lose, it's how much you make when you lose. So I was about 475 down there. So if I'd have taken that, I'd have taken it down to each stop. So I'd have got 7. So I was down 475, 575, 675. I'd have been up now $225. And I'd have lost 2 and won 1. Now, you wouldn't necessarily think that would work, but it just goes to show. So what I probably should have done was just left that. Looks like a hidden second entry. Short that does. Man, that was a ride short. And not just that. See, not everyone here trades Pats. A lot of people will trade slightly different, so you just don't know, do you? So we've had this sort of breakout the top. We've had this little overshoot down the bottom or breakout. So we going back up here or are we coming down again? It's hard to say. You could say that's a hidden second entry short, but ooh. Yeah, you're right, mate. I think you'd have happily left it. If that had been my first trade, then yeah, I would have done. But the trouble is, when you got stung in congestion once and got stung in congestion twice, as soon as it, at the moment there, it wasn't massively congested. But when we had two, which seemed to go touch this side again, you naturally start to think, oh, shit, you know what I mean? So that's a hidden second entry short. But the trouble is, we've had an overshoot, and a lot of times other overshoots can move in the other direction. Now, what I will say is we clearly seem to be working in this area with the exception of here and with the exception of here. So I'd have thought we're likely going to be moving back up. But I don't really want to take anything there. So it is just a bit unfortunate when that happens. But, you know, I suppose that comes with time when you get more confidence in your skill and your ability and you realise, yeah, it's not necessarily about how much you win or lose. To a degree, it is. But, you know, at the end of the week, what am I up? If I'm up, then it's worked. If I'm down, then it hasn't worked. You know what I mean? But that would have given me all my money back plus up 200 quid. So that's why I follow the gorilla guy, because he'll just take a trade. I seen him lose 2 trades in a row. Now, trades I thought were slightly risky, but I knew what he was doing. And he took the third trade, and he was up about 3. I think he lost 5 points, and on his third trade, he won 9 points. So he was up 4 points at the end of the day. So, you know, sometimes. Now, in all fairness, if I look at that one, it's clearly congested, and I shouldn't have taken it. That one, obviously, I took it there. But it had broken out there, and usually most breakouts fail. And another reason I took that, because we had a perfect measured leg where it closed twice, so I thought that was going to come back in. But if you'd have waited for the double top or the higher low, or indeed waited for the failure, it still didn't work. You'd have got stopped out. And it's just one of those things, really. You know, that's the thing about trading. It's not always black and white. Some things work, some things don't. And just when you start to lose confidence in yourself, you miss a trade that would have worked. And what I'd have done is followed these tops down to about here. In fact, what I might have done, because that was the bottom, as it dropped out, I'd have probably squeezed a bit more, but I'd have certainly got my money back and some. Take it easy, guys. When I wrote this, we had a bullish bet. Yeah, there's no issues with that, mate. Don't worry about that. Stop my directionally balance to claim a comment 10 minutes ago affects the next trade is stupid. No, I didn't say that. What I said is sometimes when you read trades, they can get in your head. I never said I blamed you. I said, you know, it was down to me. But you were saying not about the bit I read is about not taking shorts. So once that stays in your head, do you know what I mean? That's why it was. But no, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. You know, I open this up for comments. You're entitled to your comments. I've got no problem there. I think it was someone else. B said that, but it was only messing around. I think it was just messing around. Okay, so we've had this. Ooh, not you, Lance. Yeah, no, B was only messing around. He did say I'm only joking, but yeah. No, I open this up, mate. Anyone, you're all entitled to your comments. I prefer to have comments than not. But we're all just taking a pic. Yeah, he's just messing around. He's just messing around. I like a bit of banter, just the same as the next one, but no. It is. And things change, you know. It could have come down there and it might have started to go up. I did start to think, I mean, we're clearly getting higher highs, aren't we? So you would naturally think, yeah, he was only messing around, bud. You would naturally think and if you look at the bottoms, it's clearly giving the impression it's working up. But sometimes it does that in ranges and it can sucker you in there. God, that was purely my fault there, losing confidence. That is Long's going to take a puke. Yeah, I think you're right. I wouldn't have sat in that anyway to come back. I'd have panicked and got out of here. I'm confident, but not that confident. But it is frustrating when the third thing happens. But I don't know, sometimes you've just got to... if I'm honest, I would say if I lose my confidence and get out, I'd say I'm still better off leaving them. Because a lot of times when I've gone out, they've gone in that direction. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. So we've had this. I don't know whether anyone will take a long there, will they? I'm certainly not. They're just, you know, as tempting as the trouble is when you see something like that at this congestion, the natural instinct is you want to get your money back. And trust me, when you don't do something, it goes right to the EMA and you'd have got 4 points back. But the second you take that, it triggers, comes back and takes you. Yeah, and I'm sort of learning my lesson a bit there, but that is not over yet. It's still we're only a couple of hours in. Still plenty of time to get it back. And even if I don't get it back, I just, you know, it is what it is. It's clearly a choppy day today. We're getting lots of this push down congestion, push up congestion, push down congestion. There's loads of it, with the exception of that was quite nice. But push down congestion, push down congestion, push up congestion, push down congestion. And as soon as it starts to go sideways, you start to think, oh shit. You know what I mean? What have I done? So easy to get stuck going short here as well. Are we coming down? I'm not so sure. I bet there'll be some shorts there. See, if we're working in this area, we've had a breakout there. It usually compensates, and it has done. We've had a push out there, and we've had a breakout there. So I would have said it's likely to come back in, unless it does come down to these lows here. At some point, it could do. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. Don't think I haven't had the urge to, but having the urge to and doing it are two different things, aren't they? But do you know, Matt? I think after doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, sooner or later, your mind just starts to take over and thinks this just isn't going to work if I do this, is it? You know, and I think sometimes it happens. And it does. It is like a bit of a knife in the back when you get that. As soon as it started going sideways, I panic. Get out, and then it actually makes all my money back plus an extra couple of hundred. So that's a bit frustrating, but it's the way it is sometimes, you know. I'm certainly a skilled enough trader to be able to make money, as long as I don't go on tilt, because it's only ever when I go on tilt where I lose. So I know enough. I know enough to be able to make money, but I still have those psychological issues which make it difficult sometimes, you know. I follow that. It's quite a while. I respect what you do here. You so write something. It's my own analysis that I give you. I do not mean that someone follows it. No, it's fine, mate. It's fine. Don't worry about that. No. Mate, I've got the option to not read the comments when I'm trading. That's down to me, that is. But no, that's fine, mate. You guys write what you want. And not just that, it's good to get feedback off what you write. You know, I'm looking at this now thinking, we've had a breakout at the bottom. We've pushed up. Now, there may be some shorts there which is triggered, so I think this is going to push up. Now, how far it pushes up, I'm not sure. It might go up to the EMA and come down again, so I don't think it's a trade that I can go long on. Trouble is, when it does this, it can get a little bit hairy, so we're on the same. But absolutely, mate, absolutely. That's why I share this, because it helps my psychology because I'm less likely now. If I'd have lost those 2 trades and I'd have been trading on my own, maybe not so much now, but maybe a few months ago, straight away I'd have gone on tilt. But when you go on tilt enough times, sooner or later, your brain has to understand that I'm doing something again that just doesn't work. And you know, our sort of our brains and, you know, the physical side of our existence, you know, have ways of adapting to situations. You know, you go out in the streets walking in your bare feet for half an hour, you come back, you can have blisters, you can have cuts and that. 3 months later, you have thick pads on your feet, so you're going to be able to do it. But, and you know, our bodies and our minds have got amazing ways of you know, of working stuff out and adapting. But obviously the brain's a little bit more powerful and a little bit more stubborn than your feet heal, and your feet sort of heal without you even thinking about it. Obviously your brain, you have a lot more input. So it can take a bit longer. So we've had that push up, we've had 1 push up, 2 pushes up. So I'd say there's a possibility we could come down to these lows, but it's just too congested to get into something, and markets have got great ways of making your life miserable, and taking trades in areas like that is, in my opinion, one of them. Now, it might come down, but trouble is there's lots of these areas where there's congestion, and if you get into trades in them, they can make things difficult. But trouble is, it's definitely giving you the indication that we've got a bullish imbalance, and we have, and even the bottom. So it's very easy to get into that situation thinking, we're going up now, look at this. And you know, you get into trades or something like that, you think this is a break, and you jump in here and it goes up and stops you out. So it's got a way of messing with your head, these have, and that's for sure. See, if you'd have taken a short there, look what's happening. I mean, it might come down, but if you'd have taken, if you'd have gone short there, it triggered you, may stop you out. If you'd have gone short there, it triggered you, may stop you out. If you'd have gone long here, it's triggered you, may come down and stop you out. So many areas to get trapped here. I mean, really, the best places to take these trades are when, you know, when we're getting movement. Maybe a pullback to go higher or something. You know, pullback maybe to go higher or something like that. But when they go like this, it's just, it's shit city. It really is. But I watch that. I watch a lot of that guy's videos, the Guerrilla Trader. I admire him because he does what I want to do and work out ways of getting a lot more points out. So I've seen him, you know, have 1 leg, 2 leg, and he's taken a trade, lost it. It's come down a bit more. He's taken a trade, lost it. It's broke out the bottom, come back up, sat bullish. He's taken it. It's gone up for 9 points. So losing 2 and winning 1's made him 4 points ahead. So he is right what he says. It's not about how many trades you win or lose. It's what you make when you win's the important bit. What I mean is if you trade in the way I want to trade and just go for more points. What he does, he takes these and, you know, he'll bring it down to areas like this. He may even wait for it to break here and drop his thing, but he tends to follow it down at the next swing, which is probably here. So if he'd have taken that one, he'd have made sort of 5.5 points, which would have still more than covered my losses. Yeah, there is lots of congestion. Lots of it today. And I think when you get of experience, they're relatively straightforward to trade because the simple answer is you don't trade. Now, that was a little bit too congested than it should have been for me to take that trade. So that one's just, although it was a second entry short, it was a failure. That's just naive, that is, on my behalf. This one, I thought that was okay. Perfect measured leg, nice big bearish bar. We've broken out the top, come back in. I thought that was okay. And it went sideways and stung me, but it would have made a scalp. So, okay, so we got 1 leg up, break, 2 legs up. I kind of like that 1 leg, 2 leg. Trouble is, why do I want to go short here? Let's have a look. Measure leg. Just trying to think if there's something bigger boiling here. Might be. One leg, two leg. It's possible. Possible. Two legs. One leg, two legs. It is a measured leg. Trouble is, at the moment we've been pushing in this area, so it's dangerous that. We usually go from the first two swings, and it is really, it's finishing nice. So we'll see. I don't mind that actually. See how it finishes.
Order submitted.
See how it finishes. It's a perfect measured leg. No, that's not going to work, is it?
Order cancelled.
See if it gives us a possible lower high. I don't know if it will or not. Yeah, you can't take that there. See if it doesn't make us a low high. So, okay, so we've gone low. There's a failure triggered, whether you count that one or whether you count that. There's a failure triggered. Trouble is, at the moment, it's just hard to read at the moment. We could break down and come down to these lows or break out the bottom. We could do. But this might have been a failed breakout and we could push up to the highs. So unless we get a push down here and maybe a lower high, I just can't go short there. I like where that's come from. The next sort of swings here, fits here nice. Trouble is that's an alarm bell. I'm pushing lower. EMA gives us a lower high. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's the only thing that'll get me short in that, because it could just go higher. Ah, I'm so frustrated about that. Okay, looks like it may be coming down. If it does come down, I expect it to sort of reach these lows, which may, 2, 4, 6, may give us some decent enough points. Be nice to just get back in the green. Just too risky to go short, that is. Way too risky. And in a lot of cases, it won't even give us an option. It will just tank. It's frustrating. But it is two nice legs up. I like that. In fact, that's a new low after this one. It's closed lower, so try to go lower once, try to go lower. This is the failure. So if this ends up bullish and triggers, I shall put my short order right below that bar there. Because if there's any longs going from there, which is probably bound to be, and we can make a lower high. Once it triggers below there, give us a lower high. See what happens, it might not. Yeah, there's a failure which is triggered, but there's another failure there. We've got a new low. Try to go low once, try to go low twice. I mean, if that if that finishes like that and triggers and comes down below there and stops that out, I think that's a good short, personally. But it might go higher. I'd probably expect it to go higher. But we have had a perfect measured leg, so I'm not interested unless that triggers. I don't like it when you get two bars back to back like that. This is where we do another load of sideways shit, which we've been doing constantly. Definitely not a fun day to trade, I gotta say. See if it triggers possibly a second entry long. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd say it's after that measured leg, I'd say it's looking more bearish, but after breaking these lows, I'd say it may come back up here, so I just don't know at the moment. No idea. Bulls still trying to hold, yeah, they are. Yeah, clearly going to give us some more friggin' sideways stuff. So what are we going to do after it? Yeah, if you took that short there, it's like you may get stopped out. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick few minute break, make myself a cup of coffee, and I'm come back. I don't really want to get involved in this. The last couple of times weren't very successful. That one would have worked, but I'd rather let that sort itself out. So I'm just going to take a quick 5 minutes, and I will be back. Surprise, surprise, more congestion. Okay. What I will say, and I'll let you into something here. Now, I'm $425 down. Actually, I'm $450 down after fees. Okay, so now, when do I blow accounts? I blow accounts when I finish the stream. And I'll tell you why. Usually, if I'm 425 or 450 down, that'll be frustrated and I'll feel it eating away at me. So I'll shut down the stream and I'll carry on trading. And what I'll do is if I see the market going up, I don't put a plan in place or put an order in place. I just hit buy. And in most cases, I'll hit buy it 2 or 3 times and maybe 4 or 6 contracts. Now, if I trade 6 contracts, if I can get 2 points, that's $600 up, and that'll put me $175 or $150 up for the day. Now, that is what I usually do. So, the downside to that, because I don't plan a trade and I just jump in, they work maybe 20% of the time. Now, if it goes against me and I lose 500, I'll be down 950 for the day. Straight away, then I'm doomed. And I jump in again. And what I do is keep trading via the buy or sell button randomly if I think the market's going up, regardless of what. And that's how I'll blow an account. And then what I do then is I sign up to a couple of new evaluations and start tomorrow. Now, I've been doing that for the last year. And where has it got me? Absolutely bloody nowhere. Nowhere. Now, I'm starting to realise that now, which is why I'm not in a rush to finish this stream. Now, if I take trades that I believe to be good trades, I can make money and slowly grow. I did it before. I managed to get the account up to $7,500 and I made some money. Where did I go wrong? I went on tilt. Instead of having a limit of maybe $600 loss in a day, I took a bunch of trades and ended up down about $1,700. I carried on again after the stream and ended up $2,300 down for the day. Well, that had such an impact on me. That's basically losing a week's worth of profit. I just never recovered and slowly chipped away at it for the next few days until I lost it all. Now, what I need to accept is to be able to finish at the end of the day on a loss. And the reason I'm not on a loss is because I took trades I believe to be good trades. Now, I had 2 losses and a win. Now, that win would have given me everything back if I just had the confidence to leave it. So what I need to do is focus more on when I take a trade, let it run and try and get what I can out of it. And if I end up down for the day, then I go away and I just live with it. So I think I'm starting to just realise that that is the only way to trade. And it is. So I just wanted to be honest with you. I was just downstairs chatting with my wife and she said, how are you getting on? When I'm down about 450. She went, oh, you're kidding. Like she knows what I'm going to be doing. And I went, yeah, but it's okay. So I think I'm just maybe starting to realise it. The only way it works is if you just take trades. I don't think I've ever blown an account from taking trades I believe to be okay trades. I've blown them when I go on tilt. I've never blown an account by taking trades that I believe to be good trades. Like I say, that gorilla guy I follow has been trading for about 8 years. I saw him take 2 trades, so we had 1 leg back, 2 legs back. We didn't come down to the bottom, or let's say this is the bottom. He took 1 here. Triggered, came down, stopped him out, and he took another one. Triggered, came down and stopped him out. Then it broke out the bottom, came back and sat bullish, and then he took a 3rd one. Rode it up for 9 points. So I need to not worry too much about the losses. If it's an okay trade, I need to just see what I can get out of it. That one I ended up losing, that one I ended up losing. If I'd have let this push like I usually do and followed it down, I was, what, 475 down. If I'd have done that, I'd have got out here. So 575, 675. I'd have been about $200, over $200 up. So I just need to now just focus on taking trades, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work, and I've just got to move on. Now, I don't think if I did that, I would blow accounts. I think I would build, but maybe build slowly. But all I'm doing at the moment is just chucking money away and chucking money away. Now, I did 5 contracts late on Friday evening. Sorry, I picked up 5 more evaluations. I did 2 at a time. I blew them in 10 minutes. I took another 2, blew them in 10 minutes, took a third one, blew it in 10 minutes. Because I'm trying to get lucky. And it's just not working. So at some point I have to realise that looked like a trade to me. That looked like a trade to me. That looked like a trade to me. That made 2.5 points. So for most people, that would have worked. That made a scalp. But for me, it was just one of those things. And that was a good trade. I think it was an okay. There was a second entry long, which triggered above the EMA, and it was a failure. So that was a good trade. Unfortunately, I lost my confidence because we had a few bars going a bit sideways, and I thought, here we go again. Whereas if I'd have just let it go, let's have a look on this. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think being what introspective definitely helps in this game. Yeah, it does. Opposite of me, if I'm down, I'm overly cautious and will drop a contract. I think that's a good quality, Dr. Linney. I wish I had a bit more of that, mate. That's desperation. I think everyone has done it, yeah. Last one was a great trade. Yeah, I don't think that was a bad trade. Some people may have said it was a bit congested, but what I think it was a lower high, which triggered. Now, on a lower high, you'd expect a wick. Now, that was a bullish bar for a second entry long. So it's okay for that to be a bit stemmish. It triggered and came down. Once it broke below this, eventually, it came back up. That's the bit that unnerved me. But then we worked our way down. So I think it was okay in retrospect. The trouble is, when it broke below there, where I thought there were some longs, it came back up. And that's what unnerved me. When it came down a little bit more, I got out and panicked. But if I'd have just let it go, it would have worked. So it's all part of the journey, isn't it? It's not easy. It does take time. And you are going to mess up. But I think I'm starting to realise that, look, if I play the game properly, my chance of winning are high. I think I know enough and I can trade well enough to be able to make money. But I suppose it's part frustration when you're down, which is why I've blown accounts. Sometimes if I've been 600 up, why I come down and blow them, it's part greed. So I have that initial want, I want to get more money. I've done well now I want to get more money. And I take stupid trades. Or if I'm down, I want my money back. And I take stupid trades. I think what I need to do is trade my 3 hours a day and that's it. Just knock it on the head and come back to work tomorrow. Treat it as a work. Treat it as my job for 3 hours. I sit and take the best trades I can find. And then that's it. Go home for the day. But I like trying to talk about how I feel because hopefully some of you might feel the same way. And I got to say, sometimes you do feel a bit alone, like you're the only one. But then, you realise, well, you're not on your own. There are lots of people. So, okay, so this may be something that's working up. Although it is, let's get rid of that. It is a bit congested at the moment, but sometimes that's what it does. It goes up a little bit. Maybe some people are thinking short, and what it's actually doing is going up. You've got a volume profiling system. I'm not sure, bud. It's not an indicator. I don't know. It's just something we don't use in the PAT system. Thanks for sharing a little advice. Each loss trade means nothing losers. Let winners reach your target. Set your risk rewards. Let Tim it. Yeah. The only thing I'll say about that, Douglas, is what I tend to do. I tend to swing trade most of my trades. like that gorilla guy does. So I don't necessarily have a fix. I have a fixed stop, so my stop would have been one tick above there. But what I tend to do is wait for it to push and then usually follow it down via the swings, or if it's going down sharpish, I'll usually take it down just on the tops of each candle. Excuse me. Now, some people are... oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, I blurted out before I had a chance to hold back a bit. My apologies there. Sometimes when you're talking constantly, you get a bit of a sticky throat, so I've just had a sup of my coffee. Apologies about that. I usually hit the mic. I didn't have a chance that time. Yeah, so I tend to, some people, I think majority of people now go for 6 ticks or 2 points. But I look back on my trades, unless we were ranging in a small range, I think what I noticed is 60% of my, 85% of my trades made 6 points or more. So that's what I tend to try and go for. Got a cold lance. Yeah, I've got something. I went out with my sister and brother and a few other family members a week or so ago. Now, 3 of them have now got COVID, so I'm not sure whether I have or not. I felt a bit naff the last couple of days, but we haven't got a test. So I know I was hot last night. I felt really hot. Bit of a sticky, dry throat, and but that's the good thing about being a trader. It's not really hard work, is it? You can, as long as your brain's working, it doesn't matter how much you feel physically bad. Really, I don't feel terrible, but just a bit of a sticky throat. Yeah, so in my opinion, risk reward is everything. I don't have to move my stop. I absolutely 100% agree. My stop goes there. The only way I move my stop is to secure profit. So as we'd have pushed down, as we'd have come down there, I'd have dropped it there and then dropped it there and dropped it there and then dropped it there. Now, when that pushed down, and I know we're down to these lows, I'd have probably squeezed an extra few ticks. So I would say quite lightly, I would have got, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 8.5 points there, which would have got me well back in the green. Yeah, it does look like we're slowly grinding up here. Let's get rid of that. I've just found, I tend to watch that gorilla guy a lot, and I know I harp on about him, but anybody that's a good trader and makes a decent amount of money has got my respect, and I like his style and he's confident. He'll take a trade and just leave it, let it go, and then when we have a bit of a swing, he'll you know, he'd have left that until it done that, and then he'd have brought that down, and then he'd have brought it down to there, which is similar to putting it there, I suppose, but he does well. I watched him take a trade here, and then he moved it. He let it push up about 12 points, and then he brought it to here, and then here, and here, and he ended up getting 32 points. So he's happy to risk 3, 4, or 5, you know, a few points, but he tends to not take anything below about 6 points. And he's very effective at it, and he takes a lot of his trades based on 2 legs. So 1 leg, 2 legs, something like that. Obviously, in this case, the signal bar was naff, but yeah, there's no argument. It's clearly ranging today. But yeah, it is what it is. But you know, part of the exercise today, I think, is going to be going away in the red and accepting it and coming back tomorrow down. You know, it's part of it. Oh, well, it's when I started streaming, I passed an evaluation in 10 days and traded for about 2.5 months and built up $7,500. I had 18 green days in a row and everything went really well. But the trouble is, when you take a knockback like that, it can tend to upset your equilibrium a little bit. So, yeah. I just wanted to show my own journey, really. I wanted to show me good bits and the bad bits as well. You know, I know a lot of traders post charts on Facebook groups and that, and they just seem to show winners and none of the losers. But what I will say is, I read this somewhere: you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. You know, a failure there clearly told me it's just too congested. I should have stayed out. That was just a different ball game. I think I thought that was okay, and that one obviously was okay, but I got out. But you know, sometimes when you're making these mistakes again, sooner or later they stick in your head a bit. But it's not a quick fix trading. It's it's not going to make you a ton of money quickly. Can it make you a ton of money? Absolutely. But it's not quick, and people get too excited about the amounts of money you can earn, and they focus too much, and on all the almighty buck and not enough on the process. And when I first started trading 2.5 years ago, I started currency, and I started with a guy called Andrew Lockwood. I've spoke about him quite a few times. He was a pit trader in the London Stock Exchange during the 80s, and he worked in various places around the world for big banks. And I signed up for a 6-month mentorship with him, and you can have a couple of phone calls with him, and if you got any issued. And he said to me, focus on getting the trade right and the process, and the money will follow. I guarantee it. Too many times I'm thinking about money and big bucks and not on the process. I saw that and I'm thinking, I want to make some money today. Ooh, how much can I make down here? And I'm focusing on what I can make out of that run there instead of what's happening in the market here. And that's where, Yeah, sorry about that, Seda. When I'm starting coughing, I'm switching my mic off a bit, but I'll shut up. I'll quieten down a little bit anyway if it's not helping. No, I won't have to. Thanks, Angela. Whatever I finish on today, make a mental note of it, and you'll see what I'll come back with exactly the same. Actually, well, it'll show 0 there tomorrow, but I'll show you my account tomorrow. Yeah, it's all right. I apologise. Yeah, it's difficult. I feel okay today. I'm just it's starting to finally get through my thick head that I just have to accept what happens at the end of the day, whether it be green or whether it be red. It's the only way I'm gonna move on. Yeah, well, I'm not very good at golf. For me, golf's about hitting the ball as hard and as far as I can. Not really thinking about where it's going. I know you play. I know you mentioned before you play a bit of golf. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Douglas. I know what you're saying. Yeah, see you later, Angela. See you later. Not too bad at the moment. The ones, well, 448 down today. I've got another one going live day after tomorrow. Okay, bit of an overshoot here. Not since February, mate. Not since the beginning of February. Yes, is it cedar or cedar? I got that right. It's all part of the journey, isn't it? I mean, you fail evaluations, and then you maybe, pass a few PAs and fail them, and then you'll get a PA which makes money, and then you'll fail a bunch more, then you'll get another one that makes money, and then you may get two that make money, and it's all part of the journey. I doubt very much it goes from earning nothing to earning a ton of money. It's sort of, it's like a sort of a slow equity curve in it, a bit of winning, bit of losing, bit of winning. But hopefully, maybe 3, 4, 5 years from, down the road, then you'll start to make a lot more consistent money. But I've been at this for 3 years now, and risk reward is my main mantra. I start with max procedure, then required high win rate. Just didn't suit me now. I don't agree with the 1 point. You just can't ignore risk to reward. Yeah, I tend to like the 1-to-1. Usually I'll take trades over 3 points. Usually when it gets to 3 points, I'll drop my stop in. And then if it pushes down some more, and I'll bring it down and secure as much as I can. And so far it's done me okay. But obviously sometimes when you have a couple of losses there, you leave that one. But as that one pushed down, I'll probably allow that one to come out. As that one pushed down, I'll put it down to 3 points. So 3 points is around about what there. Once that started to push down to 3 points, I'll drop my stop in there. And then it kept going down. So usually then I'll go top, 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 top. And usually that's how it works. The tough part is of these range days, every time they go up, they're stopping at a different bloody point. So it's hard to know when to trade them, really. So when we had this push out, I think the failure was an okay trade, actually. It's just when it went a little bit sideways, and I'm thinking, where's it going up? and you lose a bit of focus there. But it is what it is. Like I say, a few years' time, if I got a nice big healthy bank balance, and I know, one or two trades isn't going to affect it, then you probably have a little bit more confidence in just leaving them because they'll work out a lot more. But it's very easy to get into a good trade and start to doubt it when it goes sideways. Just because it goes sideways doesn't mean it's a bad trade. A lot of the times they will do. I'm forever seeing Mac putting trades perfect second entry long or perfect failure. Comes back a bit and sometimes it'll touch exactly the same point. We tend to think the quicker it goes down, the better the trade. If it comes up and stops here, the closer it gets to your stop, the worse the trade it is when it's not necessarily so. All I need to do is just stop blowing accounts because all I'm doing is throwing money away. I need to just focus on the trades and then finish. Just like a 9 to 5 really, but 2:30 to 5:30, and then leave it at that and move away. Sometimes I'll be up, sometimes I'll be down, but I had 18 green days in a row. So I can do it. I just sometimes need to focus a little bit. That one, I should have left that one. I mean, it did look like it was pushing down and it was a failure and I thought it was going to go down, but it started to go sideways and sometimes, I don't know, with the best of intentions. And I know we focus a lot on second legs, one leg up. It was a beautiful second leg, nice bar. I thought that was okay. And obviously that one did turn out to be okay. So that was just naive. That one, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. 1 to 1 also, if you win 2 and lose 1. And green lose 2 and win 1 slightly. Yeah. 1 to 1. Yeah, so if you're risking 2 points, you'll go for 2 points. Yeah. I also follow Taylor at Top Pick Trading, and he generally takes 4 points most of the time. Unless we're in maybe a range and if we're trading in this range here and you go here, obviously you might not be able to take 4 points because there might not be that much, but yeah, I think 1 to 1's pretty good, but obviously every bar's slightly different, isn't it? It's where I tend to go for 3 points. If the market gets 3 points, I'll tend to drop it in, and that would more than sort of cover me. And then if it does work, like that one would have done, I'd have followed these red bars down, and when we push below here, I'd have dropped it in here. So now the downside to shorting at the top is every time we've hit this top, it's done it in a different place, which means it's so hard to read. I mean, look at that. Nothing bearish about that, but it came down. Nothing really bearish about that, but it came down. Nothing like a setup there, it came down. The only one that did look like a setup, which was that one, and you got stopped out. So it does make you wonder whether you're better off just waiting for it to get a top and just selling randomly. Trouble is, traders, whether they call them the algorithms or the traders, they know where your stops are. If you take trades like that are on a natural setup, perhaps you got more luck in trading them. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Douglas, about individual losses. You're going to have losses. I mean, if you're scalping a point, you're going to have a lot less. You're going to have less losses than if you're. I mean, like you say, you went for 1 to 1, you'd have lost that trade. If you went for 1 to 1, you'd have made that trade, so you'd have been even. If you went for 1 to 1, you'd have made that trade, so you'd have been up. If you'd have taken a point, and taken a point, you'd have been on 3 points. But you're still better off doing that. I think 1 to 1 is the benchmark now, really. I mean, when I started scalping for a point nearly a couple of years ago, you had 4 trades. So there's 4 points. You're 4 points up. Say 3.5 points up minus fees. You get a slightly large ATR, slightly big bar. You end up losing that trade. They can wipe your 4 trades out. So out of 5 trades, you still, you've lost 1. You're trading on 80%, but you're still in the red. So I just think scalp for a point's it's okay if you're Mac and you're scalping for 15 contracts and running 5 contracts, because he's got the experience to work out where these runners are likely to go, and that's where he makes the bulk of his money. So I suppose the scalp is just your, let's call it your basic pay, and your runners are your bonuses, aren't they? See, at some point, this is likely to come back down, but where? Here? Here? Up here? That's the trouble with trading these ranges, when every time they're hitting a different level. I think the safest bet is just to wait for a lower high or a failure. Trouble is, you could have said that was a lower high, but more, it was a double top. So would you think that was coming down? Possibly. Especially when you had the failure, you would have thought it'd at least come down to the EMA. And it didn't. Short it. Yeah, you're not wrong, Doug. Well, I always use limit orders and always try to get... Yeah, what I used to do is put a market order there. But if I hold a limit order actually on the bottom, wait for it to trigger below and then let go, it saves me a point every time. The trouble is, a lot of times really good trades, they just go, don't they? They don't necessarily come back. And that's why I sort of stopped trying to get limit orders. I mean, if we get a particularly big bar, then I may consider trying to get in a bit lower. Yeah, that's what I mean, which shuts you out a lot of trades. Yeah, that's the downside to it. Trouble is, you need to be doing this for a few years, really, and you'll work out what works better for you and what you prefer. I mean, it's okay. You've got to trade what suits your personality, really. But yeah, I will see that the Gorilla guy takes lots of losers, lots of them. It's not unusual for him to lose more in a day than he wins, but he obviously makes a lot more with his profit. And, ultimately that's how it works for him. It's having the confidence, but he does rely a lot on these second legs. So if you have, let's say, a break here, one leg down, another leg down, and he'll just go from here. It might not be a great setup, but sometimes when it comes down and it stalls a little bit like that, in a lot of cases, it's indication we're pushing up. So he just goes with it. Okay, so we're now at the top. So this area where it is now, it's clearly using this. It used it there, maybe as a bit of support, maybe a bit of support and resistance there. So it's clearly using this area. But you've got to be careful where you get in. Sometimes you have a proper setup like this, come down and stop you out. I don't know, obviously other traders are realising what you're doing, whether it's the traders or the algorithm. So sometimes you're better off shorting where people aren't necessarily expecting you to short. You're less likely to get trapped, I suppose. Rotational short it. I just can't, mate. So if I click short there now, where would my stop be? My stop would be, what, 1 tick above this, yeah? Something like that. Or say a couple of ticks. I know a lot of traders will maybe use a few ticks. So let's say we put it a few ticks. Let's see what would happen if I'd have short that now. So let's say we shorted it about here, yeah? Something like that. I know what you're saying, though, short the highs. But obviously you've got to have your stop in a certain place. So, you've got to have some sort of a strategy. But if you short the highs every time and run them down to here every time, that's an okay strategy. But obviously it depends, what you want to take. If you shorted that, you get a fair few points. If you shorted that, you get stopped out. If you shorted that, it worked. But what I've got to do is focus in when I take a trade, just let it run. Because if I'd have let that run, it would have eaten up the equivalent of 3 losses. And it's okay sort of losing, but when you get the chance to make something, you get out too early and you're upsetting your balance. Trouble is if here's our low here and we've broken out of it, we may pop up a little bit higher. Okay, 5 more minutes and I think we'll knock up the end of the day. Okay, it's clearly stalling. It stalled last time I came down. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Indy. Good luck, buddy. Now, you'd expect some shorts. Excuse me, some shorts to be above here, wouldn't you? So it pushes above and comes back bearish. That might be a way to take a trade, but it's clearly using this line. So that might be an area. We touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here. This, I suppose, could be the top of it. Let's see if it breaks above it may pick up some shorts. Okay, so it's gone up and touched this like it has there. Let's see if it ends up bearish and maybe gives us a lower high. Or a failure or something like that. Okay, it's broken above here now. Let's see what happens. See if this comes down and gives us anything bearish. Oh, look at that. Interesting. Yeah, every time it's clearly making higher highs and higher lows. Oh, look. I don't know, maybe there is a bit of a channel or something there. Possible, I don't know. Trouble is, the more shallow it is, the less reliable it is. Okay, see if we can get a lower high here. Oh, I don't know. So if you'd have took that one, let's see if we can get a lower high. Could be a push break and another high. I don't know. I'm not convinced that's it. It could just be something like that. Breaks above there, that's it anyway. If it manages to pull down and it gives us something bearish, then I might be interested. But otherwise, I'm leaving it alone. Not sure actually whether this is a bigger trend. It is possible. Yeah, I think that's more accurate. Could eventually be moving up, see, so what I don't want to be doing is thinking range at the moment, so I don't know. You go short here, you might get a second entry long. That's the trouble. Okay, I'm going to knock it on the head for the day. I'm just going to right click and photograph that. Save that image, but I'm not sure what's going on at the moment. I'm not going to jump the gun. You took that. At the moment, see, it's okay saying we'll take a lower high, but you might get a second entry long and it might push up. That's the trouble. So that's it for the day, guys. So I'm going to mark up my chart in a bit. So don't forget, it's the last day of the 90% off. It finishes Eastern Standard midnight tonight and then goes back to 50% off. Now, I don't think they'll have it there for long. I think they'll move back onto the 80% before long because obviously they sell a lot more. So, but if you do want them cheap, then they're there. And there's my value, my code. If you do use that, it's much appreciated. So I appreciate all your comments today. That's it for today. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm down 425, 450 with fees. So that's it today. I appreciate all your comments. And we'll be back here same time tomorrow and we will do all over again. Okay? Right. That's it for me. Stay safe.